Hey guys, I'm online and I'm on the air bringing you guys another art tutorial because I strongly believe that education should be free. In some places it is, just not here, corporate America. Excuse me. Yeah. Alright. Last tutorial I covered a whole bunch of stuff, and in this tutorial I'll cover a bunch of different stuff. I want to talk about masks. I hope this will be briefer than my last one, though I'll be editing it, so maybe you won't actually see the longness. Maybe it'll all be edited out because I actually spent some time just drawing this not so great robot thing. His face is melting inwards. Right, masks. So this guy over here is your little mask button. Add mask layer. When you add it, I'm going to add it to my color layer. Right? Set this to 50% or 100%, whatever. Add that to my color layer, right? And it looks like nothing has changed, right? But I want you to take a look at something over here, my channels. When you add a mask, this thing is created. It's not visible right now. If you click on it, you can see it's visible. You still can't really see anything. Okay, now take your brush or eraser. In Photoshop, it works with a brush with adding and subtracting pixels, right? Now, anything that's white in your mask is going to be visible. Anything that's black in your mask is going to be invisible. I will demonstrate. Control plus, that zooms in. That's a nice shortcut. Remember that shortcut, Control plus. Right now, I'm using a brush. I'm using the brush to color in black spots on my mask. Whatever is colored in black on my mask will be invisible. If I disable this mask, you can see those gray areas that I just colored in. They're still there. They're just hidden by the mask. If you switch on the mask channel, you can see what I just colored in. This is my mask. And if you really want to see your mask, you can actually turn on the color layer mask in your channels panel. If you can't see any of these windows that I'm talking about here, remember all the windows are accessible from the Windows menu. Just go through here and look for channels or Navigator. Where's theirs? Theirs. You see, theirs isn't checked right now because they're inside the same thing. So if I click on theirs, F7 is a shortcut for theirs? That's interesting. I've never used the F7 shortcut for theirs. I used to know this guy. I know I'm going off on a bit of a tangent, but I used to know this guy years ago. And this guy was amazing. He knew the shortcuts, all the Photoshop shortcuts, all of them. He didn't work with any of the tools. He didn't didn't go up here and click on any of these guys. Whenever he wanted something, he just used the keyboard to navigate the entire interface. I've never seen that before. I've never seen anyone that was so adept with working with the shortcuts of a program that it was impressive. It was actually quite impressive. I wouldn't recommend drawing or painting like this, because nobody draws and paints like this. I'm just doing this for demonstration purposes, so you can actually see what I'm doing. I'm not actually erasing. This is the same brush. I'm using the brush to do that. This is the same brush. I'm just switching between black and white. So whatever is black is going to be hidden by the mask, and whatever is white is going to be visible through the mask. I think it's good to learn about Photoshop and to learn about, because a lot of this stuff is actually transitory to other applications. A lot of other applications work with layers. I know some 3D programs work with layers, and 3D programs work with masks too. I'm surprised. 3D programs work with masks. What? I know Blender does. Yeah, I'm pretty certain that they do. 3D programs do work with masks. Like you wouldn't like think that like I mean it sort of makes sense that like 2D program would work with. Whoops, what did I do here? Masks. What was I saying? I completely lost my train of thought. That seems to happen a lot. All right, there you go. Oh, that's good. Let's hide this guy too. Bracket to increase my size. Okay, great. I'm gonna lock these theirs because I don't want to affect them anymore. And my outline don't want to affect that guy over there. I want to talk about my colors and my swatches. Now, color swatches, I know I talked a little bit about colors here. You can obviously like select specific colors from here to like color in any which way you please. Yellow, green, blue, what have you. You can pick out very specific colors here, but with that from your swatches. But with your colors, you have sliders, right? And you can use the sliders to like modify very specific parts, like the saturation. You have my default is hue is HSB. That's my default. Working with the HSB color system, the hue and saturation and brightness. And what hue and saturation and brightness basically is, like the hue is like the color, right? So there's like a red hue, there's a yellow hue. Go away. Oh dear. Like I have like this keyboard and like it has these weird shortcuts, right? So if you like push the wrong button, like escape, it's like you have to press function escape in order to actually get the escape function to work. If you just press escape, it opens a new window. It's a very strange keyboard. It drives me nuts. What was I getting at? Yeah. Red hue, yellow hue, green hue. You get the idea. Colors. It's like more colors. You get the idea. Very basic. So that's hues. Saturation, it's kind of like, I'll get back to saturation. It's a very, if you haven't like studied things like art, comprehending a concept like saturation might be a little bit difficult. So I'll get back to it. Let's go to brightness. Brightness is easy. How bright is it? How dark is it? Maximum brightness of green, this is maximum brightness of green. But when you reduce the brightness, you get darker green, until it becomes black. It just keeps gradually getting darker until it becomes, let's see what 75%, almost 70 something percent green. There's 70 something percent green. All right. So now with saturation is different. All right, saturation is different from hue and brightness. Obviously, it's, how can I describe it? It's kind of like how much of this color is in this color. You understand what I'm saying? That doesn't really make a lot of sense, does it? Well, let's just put it this way. When you have 100% brightness, let's see what happens when you take like 100% saturated green and reduce the brightness. I'm taking away the saturation. That's 70% green. 50% green, there's less green in that green. 20 something percent green, less green in that green. 0%, and then it just becomes white because there's no more green in that green. It basically takes your color from being color and changing it to grayscale, basically. So when you have no saturation, then you're just working with hue, and it doesn't matter what color it is because there's no color in your color. So all you see is the brightness, right? And since it's green, right? It's green, but it's zero saturation, right? And the brightness is 100%, it looks white. But if I change the brightness to like, I don't know, around 50%, wait, actually this might make a good exercise in terms of like colors. Let's say 70 something percent. Okay, reduce the brightness to 50%. So that's 50% brightness. 70-something% saturation. Saturation. Now, as you can see here, the hue is green. This is saturation. R rotates. Let me see if I can rotate this. What? I can't rotate my document? What kind of nonsense is this? Okay. Saturation. Saturation. Alright. And this is brightness. So the hue is green. This is a green hue. The hue's not changing. Only the saturation is changing and the brightness is changing. See? This is what it looks like when there's no color in your color. So when there's no color in your color, everything looks like this. But if there's 100% color in your color, it is heavily saturated. It has a lot of the contrast there. It has a lot of color. There's a lot of that color in that color. Then it'll look like this as the brightness increases and decreases. Well, I hope this is will help you understand hue and saturation and brightness. And there are a lot of different color systems. When you first open Photoshop, you'll probably end up with RGB, right? And it works. It's a different color system. I like working with HSB. CMYK if you want to work with printing. CMYK works with a blue channel called cyan. Magenta, which is kind of it's sort of like a red color. Y is yellow and K is kind of black. So you combine these different colors. You see here's 100% yellow and 0% magenta and cyan. You add some magenta to magenta, and this is magenta yellow. This is cyan and yellow, and when you get 100% blue and 100% yellow, you get green. And cyan and magenta, yellow and magenta, and then there's K, which is basically what is K? What is the name of K? I'm not even certain. It's black, basically. How dark it is. I forgot what the name for K is. Well, it's not really that relevant. Okay, so yeah. So yeah, if you don't have the HSB color slider, what you can do is click on this little button over here, and this will give you the different color systems that you can work with, and you can switch it over to HSB. Up here is relatively vital. This is your Navigator. This guy here is your Navigator. It's relatively vital. As the name implies, you can use this thing to navigate your way around the application or your canvas. You can zoom in and out using these little mountain guys. The big mountain zooms in, the little mountain zooms out. You have a slider, you can zoom in and out using the slider. Be careful with this thing. This thing, if you go too far with it, you'll end up in space, kind of like that. And what have you. How do you get it back to 100%? 100%. You can even type in how much you want. Just move 100%. There we go. Oh, you can also use it to pan around. So the red square is like your view window, and you can just like pan around the canvas like this. Just click and drag to pan around it. Very convenient. Personally, I just use the hand tool because it's like more accurate. With this, I have like less control of where I'm going, but you know, it could come in handy. And the last thing I want to like show off for now, which is like very critical, very essential, would be like the history palette tool. This, where is this guy? History. The history. This is like one of the greatest things about working digitally. When you're working traditionally, anything you do is permanent or semi-permanent. Even if you're drawing with a pencil, you can use an eraser, but there will be some small percentage of residue of whatever you worked on before. It'll be there somewhere. Even if it's like just 1%, there'll still be something. With digital, nothing is permanent. Like nothing. So like you do a bunch of stuff, oh, I don't like what I did. You can just go into this list and undo like everything. Everything. You can just like go back and undo everything. But there is a limit to how much you can undo, how far back you can go. I'm not really certain what I have it set to. I like to set it to like around 100. Let's check the preferences to see what it is. Go to edit menu preferences. Was it performance? Yes, here we go. Performance, history state. I have it set to like 100 states. And you can change how many states that you want it set to. And like the very top state is like basically the last save, like when the file was initially opened. So you can like lose everything that you worked on during your session if you wanted to, if you so choose. But be careful with this, because if you go back and then you start doing stuff again, you just lost all of your history. Wherever it is that I just did. What did I just do? And you can't really undo that. Well, at least, yeah, you can't undo that. You can't undo that. Now the shortcut for going back in the history state would be like Control Z or Control Alt Z. This is really awesome. You just press down, and for some reason, Control Alt Z is key to my GeForce experience. I never use that thing. I should just uninstall it. It's annoying. Control Z, Control Alt Z will allow you to just go continuously back. Control Alt Z will allow you to go continue. Oh, I need to get rid of this thing. Okay. Control Alt Z will just allow you to go continuously back. This is pretty much all the basics I wanted to like cover for now. So, yeah, if you are new here to WRNotes, make sure to hit the subscribe button. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you drop a like. And until next time, stay creative, have fun, good luck out there.